Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Podcast. My name is Gary Buechler. I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, California, and down in San Diego is my co-host and good friend, Dennis Bithoulkas. What is up, Dennis?
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. I'm happy. I saw a couple of good episodes of television tonight, and we're going to start out with one of them. I like one more than the other, but, the other one and the one we're covering right now, which is The X-Files, I love for what it was. It was a great show for not all of its original 9 seasons, but for most, and it was great. I liked it best when it was on Friday night. That was in the first few years. I don't know, midweek television. I still see it as a Friday night TV show, but we're gonna differ. We're gonna differ on this one.
It started on Sunday nights actually, and then moved over to Friday.
Started on Friday.
That's right. It started on Friday and moved to Sunday. So
moved to Sunday. Oh yeah, I remember.
Happens when I was there. Old.
Yeah,
and everything goes backwards.
Yeah, we're gonna differ on this one because I enjoyed this episode. Now, last episode, kind of a hot mess. Kind of a hot mess.
It was a hot mess.
But I was just happy to see the X-Files back. Now that we're over that, it's like, okay, I want to see it. Last episode moved way too fast. It was like an episode of 24, and there's actually some 24 moments in this episode too, especially with the fighting. Just the way they shoot everything. Fox Mulder action hero is that's what we've got right now.
Yeah, dude. I mean, what? He takes down like 6 guys.
Yeah. And Scully kicks a bunch of ass too. But I love that opening scene.
Yeah.
We got the hitman coming up on Fox's house, and I guess they're doing some Netflix or whatever. Scully and Mulder sitting on the couch.
They were actually watching the Ramones 1979 San Francisco concert at the Civic Center.
Nice. Google. Did you Google that one?
I actually read that on a different recap, so I had to get a little perspective.
You're reading other recaps before you recap, Dennis? You're so cheating.
Well, it was actually just kind of listed.
Don't read anything. This is a visceral reaction, and that's what it's supposed to be. Cheater. Freaking cheater. Oh, that's how he looks so smart. We're on to you, buddy. The Ramones are great. I was so happy I got to see them live once before
this
they
is
all croaked.
Ramones heavy episode. This really is a Ramones heavy episode. There's lots of references to them throughout the entire episode.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Ramones fan.
And it's me too. I saw them live at the defunct California Theater in San Diego. It's a boarded up building now. And I'm pretty damn sure I saw them with Melissa, who is not here tonight. I am sorry, but she worked a little late. And she's got to work early in the morning. So she'll be back next week. She says hello, everybody. If you're in the chat, we will get to you right after we do our recap. Dennis and I will run down the show a little bit, then we'll get to your questions and corrections and all that other stuff. So yeah, starts out with Ramon song. That's a quick way to my heart to make things a lot, and that's probably why I liked the episode and you did not. Sorry.
No, I mean, I liked where it was opening up with. It just we'll get into it. It's basically what at the end of the first episode that we had of the season, they were getting ready to look for William and to find him, and they're not. They're just that's. I understand these are all standalone episodes. They're not going to follow the main storyline all the time, but if this is your last season, kind of wrap up all your little tidy things. You're already starting to unravel again.
I mean,
at least follow it.
They left us on a huge cliffhanger 2 years ago. And I wasn't the biggest fan of season 10. I think I liked 2 episodes, or I actually liked an episode and a moment of an episode when Mulder was tripping on shrooms. And which was great. But yeah, you're right. I was kind of expecting them to hit the ground running, but they were sitting on a couch. Maybe this is the day they were taking a break. But it is funny that they didn't even mention William in this at all. So that's one gripe. But I thought this was more of an X-Files episode. It felt paced like an X-Files, really like an old school. It's got that the quick opening right before the credits. It rolls to them on the run. We still don't know who these shadowy organizations are. Skinner, we still don't know where his allegiances lie. He breaks it down pretty good in the parking lot, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. He was just kind of there to fill in the information.
Yeah, that's kind of what he does. Well, they don't have Deep Throat anymore. That's all the show was meet a man on a park bench, and he fills in, gives you a little tidbit to keep you going. Little crumbs, little breadcrumbs. So they get attacked by some hitman, and they kill two of them. One of them runs away, and they get a weird phone call. That's how the episode starts. Mulder's phone goes off, and we see one of the lone gunmen. We see Langley.
Yes.
And they are
Ringo.
they are indeed dead. So, I had forgotten they were dead. Did they die at the end of their one season TV show? Because I didn't watch all of that, believe it or not.
Yeah, so. It was just, I can't remember if it was right before that. I think the one episode, the TV show happened after they died, if I remember correctly. It was kind of a weird thing. It was supposed to be like a flashback to what happened during the X-Files, but yeah, it's been so long. I don't remember offhand.
Same here. Yeah, I mean, that's hey, but he's back, and they mentioned we assumed they were dead last season, which was 2 years ago, because that we saw them in Mulder's dreams, and I guess he had been dreaming about Mulder prior to that too. And
yes,
Mulder says everybody dreams about me,
yep.
which is kind of true. So after that, they get the weird phone call, and Langley says, hey, am I dead? If you're seeing this, then they know. And the hitman come and attack. They dispatch the hitman.
They know that I know.
They know that I know that you know that I know that you know that I know. So they dispatch the hitman, and then more hitmen come, but they're Russian. Which was confusing the hell out of me a little bit. I'm like, what is this going to be? Is this a dream? That's what I first thought. I'm like, is this a dream episode where they're in a Russian occupied America or something like that? But I don't know. What were you thinking right there?
I got confused. I'm like, are they now in Europe or something? What the hell's going on? Are they being chased by Russian agents now in Europe? What's going on? And then Scully calls, Skinner. So they said, oh, we haven't talked to him in 3 weeks, but maybe we'll call him. And he's like, surrender. Just drop your weapons and surrender. I can't say anything more on an open line. And they're like, okay, that's kind of weird. And of course they don't. And what ends up happening is the guys bust in and take out their guns and handcuff Mulder and Scully together. Kind of in a weird way.
And they hid the phone in the oven, but the Russians knew about the phone. That's what they were after. The phone goes off and they find it. And while they're messing around with the phone, Scully somehow overpowers 2 Russian guards and Mulder.
Yeah, Mulder, yeah. Because their hands are intertwined. So they get one guard where he's just shooting the machine gun and they're kind of swinging it around. And they go out the window and then over the balcony. And that's when they start running into the woods, handcuffed together, running sideways. It was kind of a weird, kind of like they've planned this before, that they've practiced.
Yeah, see, I had no idea what was going on up to this point, and they run into the woods, and they're in Washington D.C. So it's not like they're out like I don't know what it's like out there, but they ran out into the woods. I don't know how deep these woods go, but Skinner was there. Skinner was there to help them, and he uncuffed them and gave him a little clue. Fox asked him about Langley, and he's all, well, I buried Langley or in Langley or whatever. And
in Arlington,
in Arlington, sorry. And so they go to the cemetery when they start doing some real X-Files shit, where they start everybody was born on or died on a president's birthday.
Yeah.
And we were
except for Langley. Him and Mulder were born on the same day.
Yeah. Okay. And that led them to finding out there was the 32nd, 34th, 35th. So they're missing the 33rd president. So they went to the 33rd row. I was not following any of this. I had to write it down.
Yeah, what? They were like 3 rows over and 3 up is what they did. So they went 3 up and then 3 over, and they went to different directions because they didn't know if it was 3 to the left or 3 to the right. And that's when Mulder sees Deep Throat's tombstone, and he finds that the name is Ronald Pacula. He never knew what the name was, and they see a protruding cross. His is the only cross that's protruding off of there. They swing it out, and they find a chip that's underneath there.
And just want to point out that 33 is a very powerful number in the whole Illuminati conspiracy world. Not going to get into the weeds with that one. Just it is. So that's it. It makes sense that that's where Deep Throat's grave would be. Yeah. So it's got one of those little scan things you scan with your cell phone. Yeah. So they pick that out, and all of a sudden, one of the Ramon assassins pops up again out of nowhere. And starts popping some shots out, and we get some more actiony stuff, some more action Mulder. And
so, here's where something that happens made me question this whole episode too.
Okay.
So Mulder kills I'm just gonna call him the wannabe Ramon.
Yeah.
And by slamming his head against the Deep Throat's tombstone, cracking his head open because there's blood going down it, and supposedly he's dead. Right.
Yeah, he looked pretty dead.
Yeah. So they go and take the chip to a internet cafe. They scan it. They find that it's actually a building called Titan Point, and it's actually in one of the X-Files. It had existed in one of the X-Files under an NSA project. Blarney is what they were talking about it.
Yeah, and they found all this by going to that
was on the chip, and that they needed to go. Yeah. And so they know they needed to go to the X-Files. So they go back to Skinner.
Yeah.
Ambush him in the garage, basically. It's always a great thing to do, is ambush your really hostile, boss who may or may not be on your side and who is armed, and you're armed too, in the garage of a darkened building.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we need to go to the X-Files. And Skinner's like, we closed that in 2002. There's no more paper. We digitized all this stuff.
I'm surprised he didn't have an app. He just pulled. I was waiting for him to pull it up on his phone.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And they realized that all references to Titan Point have been erased. All references to Langley have been erased, but the other two gunmen are still there, including Froley's files in his spank bank, his Scully spank bank file.
Yeah, dude, that was funny.
Yeah. And I don't know if you realized that the one title was 53rd and 3rd, another Ramones song.
Yes.
About a Vietnam veteran who comes back from the war and ends up becoming a prostitute on 53rd and 3rd in New York.
Good times.
Yes. And so what we get is we find Dr. Hanley is her name. It basically says, if I've been erased, find her. And she is in Bethesda, Maryland, teaching classes.
So that's the point where I'm like, red shirt. There's an X-Files red shirt right there.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I kind of missed about the X-Files is like people used to die like a lot in this show. So yeah, the last episode was so jarring. Because it was kind of like that. The whole 6th season was like that last episode. It was just like not X-Files. It was trying to be something else. This is the first episode where it feels like a course correction, just back to let's go back to basics and let's just do some one-offs for our last hurrah, which I'm totally down with. If we're just gonna, I don't need major mythology. We're gonna get it in the last episode. If you look at the episode titles, they might sprinkle a little bit in each one, but that the last season in season 10, they didn't really do that at all. They did a mythology episode, then they did a bunch of one-offs, and then they did another mythology episode at the end, and had that ridiculous ending. But
a really ridiculous ending, which leads me to Dr. Hanley says, oh, well, there's an equation here that basically I downloaded my phone onto this other cell phone because Mulder's phone, by the way, was taken by the Russian agents, and then it was wiped remotely. It was actually virused and erased. I forgot to mention that. So he of course doesn't have that phone in order to get in touch with the doppelganger Langley. Doppel Langley. That's
The
what.
other Langley.
Yeah. And so basically, Dr. Hanley is writing down the algorithm in order to, do the phone freak. And freak, by the way, is Phreake. Yeah. I used to do a little phone freaking back in the 90s. That's all I'm going to say. So I know what they're talking about there. And she gets shot, of course, by the Ramon wannabe.
Yeah.
He pops
But
back
yeah,
up.
right. She at least got to finish the equation, right?
Yeah.
And this is after she told them, like, again, this was just more information. She was there to give information and die, just like a good X-Files red shirt.
Yeah.
So she basically told them that, yeah, Langley and I, wanted to be together forever, and we were really into the science. So we volunteered for this program to where we would be able, or it was through a security firm or through NSA or something, where you could download your consciousness into a computer. And what did they scan your I forgot what she said.
She said
they
took samples of their brain secretions and
okay,
all kinds of stuff like that. And
the thing is, it doesn't make you live forever. It's just your consciousness. But then she said, this is where I got confused at the end of the episode, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I not the sharpest tool in the shed all the time. So did she say that once you die, then you are alive, but you're not alive in the simulation unless you physically die?
Once you die in this world, supposedly that simulation of you starts up.
Okay, so they started up once you die. So it's not started up already, and you're not continuing. You're not simultaneously. You're not at the same time. Okay.
Supposedly, that's what the theory was.
Okay, so I was a little confused. I caught that, like, okay, they fired up the simulation and it wasn't working, and then when you died in real life, then it starts working. But
that's why I was saying it was kind of a gray area. This is where it kind of pissed me off. They were. It was kind of like someone was drinking when they were writing this a little bit, and they went, "Okay, we're going to just kind of fudge this over." That sounds good.
It was ridiculous from the beginning. It's an X-Files, so I was rolling with it. It's okay, man. I'm still happy to see X-Files. So and it's cool. It's cool that they're doing some 21st century stuff a little bit, even though it might be early 21st century 2005 stuff. But it's cool. It was cool, and it was cool to see one of the lone gunmen back. But that's why I was expecting, and I'm saying this because it didn't happen. I was expecting her to, like, be in the simulation with Ringo, right? Mm-hmm. Once she died. But no, she just died.
Yeah.
And we never saw her again.
She said that somehow what did they say? That if the simulation wasn't the utopia that they thought it was going to be, that they would have some way to find out about that and get information out somehow. I don't know why they were why she said that they were doing this as a backdoor. She didn't really explain why the simulation was there in the first place.
Well, no, the simulation, they tell you. Barbara Hershey tells you.
Barbara Hershey does tell you, but Dr. Hanley doesn't say.
No, she doesn't say anything. We are clueless at this point. We just know that Langley pretty much is dead at this point.
Yeah.
And he's been uploaded into something.
So Langley, actually, after this, we find Mulder and Scully after they kill the Ramon wannabe
again.
Again for the second time.
Yep. Did you have a glitch? I had an editing glitch. In the scene where Mulder was talking to Ringo's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or partner, or whatever.
Family, yeah.
Did you get any kind of editing glitch on that one? Because it might have been just on you. Because, like, I got to watch for this crap. We're watching X-Files. I watch Mr. Robot and stuff. So right in the middle of him talking to her, they looked up at the window and you could see the shadow of the assassin coming. And then he goes back to talking to her and it just cuts. It hard cuts.
That was something that happened on your.
That must have been on my. Dude, YouTube TV. I'm sorry, I'm on YouTube right now. Sucks. I mean, dude, it was so bad. The quality is like 480p. It's bad. It's really bad. Come on, guys. Your YouTube. You got
I was
4K tech on your damn streams. Let's do it. I mean,
I
not
was
on
doing the
ours,
same
but on
thing.
theirs.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing, but it's my internet. I already know that just because of where I'm at. So, but yeah, no, there was no cut there.
All right,
So
never mind. Move along.
but I'm starting to think that, and this was brought up kind of in the first episode, that we're not in the same. This might all be a simulation as well. That's where I was getting at,
Yeah,
because Langley at one point he comes after Mulder and Scully are in a bar, like a skeezy bar, and Mulder has hooked up the phone. He's put in the algorithm into the phone, and he's freaked it a little bit, as he said as far as his freaking abilities will get. And Langley calls and says, "Hey, this place, basically no one ever dies, no one gets sick. Everyone's here. The New England Patriots even are here when they never ever win, which
yeah,
is and but he says they're all slaves. That basically they're just there to run simulations all the time, and like all the geniuses are there. I don't
yeah.
know why they put
Jobs,
Steve Jobs
Kramer.
in there, but
He was a marketing genius. He was
he
a
was a marketing.
marketing genius.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they all don't know who they
that's
are.
genius. Yeah,
Is what it was what he says. They don't know who they are, and he says he realized that the stars weren't right and that their sun had no warmth, and that's kind of what tipped him off that this wasn't real. And so he's telling them to shut down the simulation. And this is what kind of threw me back into the whole line from the first episode that this might still be a simulation. That what happened with Scully at the end of season 10 is happening all in her mind.
yeah. It might be in her mind or in
In a
the
simulation.
in a
Yeah.
computer simulation. I that's kind of where I thought they would go with this, because that's the new hot, or it was the trend
Yeah.
a few years ago, was like we're living in a, even Elon Musk, the great Elon Musk, I'm going to say that, by the way. He's a great man.
I think he's okay. Yeah, he's good.
No, he's a good dude.
Um,
Hook
so
me
this
up, brother. Sorry,
this of
go on.
course, yeah, this of course leads Mulder and Scully to break into Titan Point because they're trying to figure out how to get in, and they're like, "Well, we're not really dressed for it, but we can get in." And so Scully has a gun to Mulder and basically says she's bringing him in, arresting him, and that they need to go through the tunnels to see the NSA guys because they want to talk to Mulder. And so she gets one of the guys to take them down to the tunnels, and they're like, okay, well, we need to go up onto one of the floors and find the server so we can turn it off.
Yep. So yeah, Scully uses a little wink, and it takes Mulder in, and I guess nobody's ever heard of Fox Mulder. You'd think he would be famous at this point, but I guess not. Maybe they squashed him completely. They get in, and we get again, I was totally happy with this. We get the shadowy showdown with Mulder talking to somebody who's giving very vague answers, like, you want to know the truth? I know it. Here's the truth.
First, we have Mulder taking down like 8
people.
guys in the stairwell, so that Scully can escape. Somehow
Sorry,
or another, somehow we get Mulder taking down 8 guys in the stairwell so Scully can escape.
Dude, it's Action Mulder. Just get used to it. Yeah,
it was.
It's Jack Mulder.
Jack Mulder.
It's Jack Mulder kicking some ass. Hey, he's in good shape, man. Let him kick some ass. He kicked a little ass in X-Files, but yeah, he's not little nerdy Mulder anymore. He's he got rid of his baby fat. He grew up a little bit, and Scully looking pretty good too. So there you go. And she's kicking some ass too.
Yeah, she was.
The action scene in the beginning was really well shot, and anything edited to a Ramones song, it's great. I'm gonna love it. Okay, so yeah, at the end, yeah, he kicks a little ass, and he's talking to Barbara Hershey, and they're doing that. Do you want to know the truth?
She does. Thing. Yeah, she does do the twirling of the mustache. That basically all life on Earth as we know it is going to end, and this computer simulation is the next step in evolution. I'm like, what? Huh? How is that possible?
Well, they're going to wipe out everything on Earth. We haven't heard why. We've heard because I want to, and I hope X-Files. I mean, it's a. I'll agree with you on this. It's a little too tongue in cheek right now, and the original X-Files was not. They would have tongue in cheek episodes, but they would not. They would no. You'd feel like they're taking the mythology of it very seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's have a reason. Like maybe there's a good reason. Maybe a solar flare is coming and it's going to wipe everybody out, and this is the only way we can. And maybe it's just two factions fighting how we save everybody. I think that's a good plausible plot. Sorry. Allow myself to introduce myself. Sorry.
Well, and then also she brings up, and this is where I kind of just broke with it completely. Well, we've been uploading brains whether you want to or not through your cell phone. And he goes, well, what if I don't want to? And she goes, well, then you don't need to use a cell phone.
Yeah. I know, right? Which would have been my answer, by the way. I tell that to my kids all the time. You don't need to use it. Life will go on.
Oh, man. She really just needed
total hypocrite. Yeah. And what the cover say, it's about being in the X-Files and weird shit in the X-Files, right, Arturo? And Disney's going to fuck this one up, by the way.
It already has.
It already has. But yeah, that's what it is. It's like, and that's I think that's the best way to send the show off. I don't want some grand conspiracy. Yeah, bring back the Smoking Man and not have him, dude. Remember at the end of season 9, the Smoking Man had like long hair and he was like smoking peyote or something like that.
Yeah,
it was weird, man. So it's good to have him back. He's probably good. And yeah, give us some monster episodes. I want each supernatural thing represented. I want demons. I want weird science. I want a haunting, something like like a Bigfoot or Jersey Devil. I know they've already done that, but something like that,
and a circus sideshow.
And yeah, bring back Jim Rowe's circus sideshow, which I cannot say once, much less 10 times fast. And Mr. Lifto and the Enigma. That's very 90s, by the way. That's extremely 90s. Play some 9 Inch Nails in the background. There you go.
Basically, it ends with Scully shutting down the server, and they're going to bring the FBI in to show them that this place existed in Titan Point, and of course, Barbara Hershey, Erica Price is gone, and they bring the FBI back, and the servers are mysteriously gone as well. They're ripped out of the walls.
Like, couldn't they have just stayed there and called the FBI to them? Like, let's leave and give them a chance to run away. That's like the Bond villain. I'm going to have this ridiculous trap and walk away and give you a chance to escape.
But they get home.
Yeah. This was cool. This is the part I liked.
They get another phone call from Langley saying they know about everything. You didn't get the backups.
Yeah. And I'm scared.
Yeah,
I'm scared of what they're gonna do, and then he gets whacked, and then we see, our guy that has died twice,
Ramon,
and he likes to do this, his little. If you're listening,
the twirling finger and pointing.
Yeah, he did not hear that it was not nice to point. Why isn't it nice to point? By the way, I never understood that, but whatever. So I don't know. I like the episode. You found it silly.
I found it silly and just a little kind of tedious in some places. So,
lighten up, Dennis.
Lighten up, Francis.
Lighten up, Francis. I thought it was pretty good too. I thought it was definitely better than the last episode.
It was better than the last episode, but then again, pretty much a lot of the subpar episodes are better than the last episode. Last
episode's getting killed a little bit, and deservedly so. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that Melissa couldn't join us tonight, but work. Yeah. Bill's got to get paid, yo. Hey, she makes the big bucks. That's why she makes the big bucks. So we've got another podcast to do. We're going to say hi to a couple of our guys in the chat room, just saying hi. Yeah, there wasn't a ton to talk about with this episode. It's ain't like Mr. Robot, that's for sure.
No. And like I said, that was our big, theory is that this is all just an illusion.
But if you think about it, if you take X-Files, say, out of the hands of Chris Carter, and you give it, because they'll reboot this thing someday without
J.J.
Mulder and Scully,
Rian Johnson.
I'm just going to pretend you didn't even say that name, but they'll reboot it, and hopefully they'll get Sam Esmail and he'd be great, or somebody to make it more like a Mr. Robot. I think to bring the X-Files into the 21st century, it's definitely, I can't believe I'm saying this, not dark enough.
It needs
this was used to be the darkest
paranoia.
Yeah. No, you need, like, people kind of used to get freaked out by the show. This was a dark show, and they'd had some really dark and creepy episodes. And yeah, this feels like a good fun ride, which is not supposed to be the X-Files. I don't know.
Yeah, they never really felt like they were in danger.
No, it does. There's no stakes. So it's more of a celebration. It's like, hey, this is a last hurrah, which is cool, but not really the best stuff to podcast about in the world, I'll have to admit to you. But do Mulder and Scully still hate each other in real life? No, they have gotten over that. They actually talked about it on one of those late night talk shows.
I remember seeing
all those guys look the same to me, and I only watch their clips on YouTube. And yeah, they buried the hatchet, and not between David Duchovny's shoulder blades. No, they buried the hatchet. They got over it like most people do, and they, and I, who knows why they were still pissed at each other. It was probably because didn't David Duchovny didn't he have to go to like sex addict? Didn't he have a sex addict problem?
Yeah, that's why he got divorced from Tia Leone.
Yeah, oh, that's right. He was married to the human stick figure. Mm-hmm. Yes, Tia Leone, who was in everything in like the mid-90s for a little bit there.
Yeah, she for like a good year. That's all she was in, and then she disappeared.
Yeah. So yeah, I know. 20 years, they finally got over it. Yeah, that's good. And no, they look like they definitely get along, and they even addressed it, and then they couldn't really answer it. And even Gillian Anderson said, it was her too. She took a long time to get ready and stuff like that. But they didn't come out and really say. Thankfully, it wasn't like a Me Too situation, right? Exactly. We don't know that for sure. We're knocking boots, right? Damn Hollywood shit. Yeah, Hollywood shit, man. Yeah, we'll be talking about that Friday, the stuff that landed yesterday. I got words for a certain website called Bleeding Cool. I have some very nice words for them that I will save for Friday. But yeah, I will never. I mean, after Friday, I will never discuss them again. I unfollowed them on Twitter, and I'm kind of done with them after some tweets related to our man Stan the Man, who I mean, I don't know if he's innocent or not, but we'll talk about Friday. This is about the X-Files. So yeah, exactly. we got to get off and do Happy. I'll say with Stan, I hope it's not true. But I can't come out and say it's not true or true. I don't know.
We'll save that for Friday.
We'll save it for Friday. That's a tease. Friday Night Live, 8 p.m., where you guide the podcast. You control the podcast. So, Dennis, any final words on the X-Files? Oh, wait, we got a comment here.
No, it's just talking about more of the Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. So Dennis, take us out, and you guys can jump in on Happy. We'll be back in 15 minutes to cover Happy. Any final words on X-Files, Dennis?
No, that's pretty much it. You?
All right, take us out.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, America, and the rest of the world.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. And good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.